Well, Vasudha, one thing that everybody seems to be waiting for is the address of the Prime Minister immediately after the special prayers, immediately after the Shaurya Yatra, and also the salutations to the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the creator of the modern temple really between 1947 and 51. So in a few minutes from now, we will see Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving here.
Are on air. Aditya, those visuals are on air. The Prime Minister's arrival. Go ahead.
Yes, the Prime Minister has arrived at the venue, and in a few minutes he will be participating to pay salutations, to lay a wreath at the Sardar Sankalp Sthal. So Prime Minister there finally on the second day of the entire event here in Somnath, the Somnath Swabhiman Parv. Immediately after his floral tribute to the Sardar, he will be heading for the Shaurya Yatra. After the Shaurya Yatra, a very special and significant prayer inside the temple, bowing towards Lord Shiva, would be held. Priests from the 12 Jyotirlings will be converging here. Remember that Somnath is a very important pillar of the Jyotirlings, the first of the 12, and that's why it assumes a very powerful significance in the Hindu Dharma as well. So apart from that, we'll see Prime Minister also addressing finally after the special prayers. It's likely that the Prime Minister will speak about the kind of attacks that Somnath has had, but it has been the resilience of the people, resilience of several historical figures who will pay rich tributes to, who have played a significant role in construction of the temple time and again. Through centuries, at least 6 to 7 times the temple has been destroyed, destructed, plundered and looted. But each and every time it has been yet again constructed, and it has got the glory that it truly deserves. So traditionally we've seen the moon actually praying towards Lord Shiva here. That's how the creation of Somnath really happened. It was constructed in gold, in silver, in wood, and in modern age in stone. But there you have it, Prime Minister Narendra Modi being greeted as he arrives at the venue. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the second day has in fact arrived at the venue. In a few minutes, as I said, he will be paying tributes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Yesterday was a significant day as well, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi held special prayers. Omkar Mantra Uchcharan also happened. And finally, there was a magnificent drone show paying tribute not just to the Somnath Temple, but all those people who were significantly important in the cultural revival and the continuity of the Hindu civilization in this entire region. From Ghazni to several other people who have plundered Somnath and several such historical cultural sites in India. But time and again, we've seen the revival of those sites, especially in the last 11 years. We've seen significant focus of the Modi government on this cultural revival as well. So here we have it, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Karm Bhumi in many ways, and Janmbhumi, Gujarat, arriving on the second day of this Swabhiman Parv to celebrate the Somnath Temple, and he would be obviously interacting with the people, waving to them, but most importantly paying respect to all those people from Sardar Patel to Ahilyabai Holkar and many others who played a significant role against all challenges and odds to fight and finally have...
It's just become so interesting, Gauri, that this is Saurashtra, and I just want to make this point that the Prime Minister has always made it a point to begin his campaign from Ashapura Temple in Kutch. So, even in his speeches as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Saurashtra was very close to his heart. Saurashtra often faces water problems, and that was something that he believed that the Narmada Sarovar Dam would be able to, achieve in terms of solve. But Aditya, the visuals are just so good in terms of just these horses and these youngsters.
And the Prime Minister wrote about today, in that op-ed that he had put out, the editorial column, where he highlighted how this needs to be viewed also as India, Bharat getting over the colonial mindset. And I think that needs to be highlighted as well, that we are past our colonial hangover. The fact that we are celebrating our history, the fact that we have confidence in our history is so important. I'm going to first amp up the audio once, and then we go back to Aditya. Increase the audio once.
Prime Minister's own home state, a state that he has ruled as the Chief Minister for 14 long years. You see Bhupendra Patel, the Chief Minister, and the Deputy Chief Minister, Harsh Sanghvi, the newly minted Deputy Chief Minister. In fact, the Prime Minister also held a meeting of the Somnath Trust yesterday. He went through all the developmental projects that this temple is likely to see in the course of the next few years. And in the afternoon, he will also be proceeding to Rajkot, which is in some ways seen as the capital of Saurashtra. And he has spent 2 nights in Somnath, which means that he has sent out a message that this is a project that he is extremely passionate about, and this is something that's very close to his heart.
And the fact that this comes very close to the Dhwaja Rohan that took place just about 6 weeks back, and now you have such an important celebration, a grand celebration of the majestic Somnath Mandir. It just really highlights the cultural aspects, the civilizational aspects that we are pointing out. And let's get in Aditya back with us on just that. Aditya, the Prime Minister wrote about this, that this is not just about faith. Of course it is about faith, but it's not just about faith. It's also about our civilizational aspects. It's also about the fact that we have gotten over our colonial hangover that has really dictated how we've viewed every aspect of our existence the last several centuries.
Well, yes, this is the enduring spirit of the faith, the endurance that has really happened here over the years, over centuries really, and that's the significance. It's about faith, it's about cultural revival, it's certainly about the continuity of the civilization, but the biggest point out here, like the Prime Minister points out, is the message of a confident India, the resurgence that has really happened, and how we take pride in our cultural sites of immense significance. These are powerful places of pilgrimage, these are powerful places of meditation, these are very powerful places of a higher consciousness really, and that's what the Prime Minister really wants to point out. Also, the kind of colonial hangover that we have seen, the kind of also the politics that has been played out, not just around Somnath but several other cultural events and as well as sites, is important to speak about, because there was a political slugfest between the Congress and the BJP about this, with the BJP slamming the Congress party on how Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister, in fact wanted to stop the construction. He wasn't really keen on the reconstruction of the temple, and obviously Mahatma Gandhi did not want the state funds to be used and wanted some kind of a crowdsourcing, and that's what really happened. The people of India contributed, especially the people of Gujarat really contributed with their tan man dhan in the reconstruction of the Somnath. And today we see that pride, that glory on these visuals, a lot of color, a lot of vibrance, but a lot of spirit also of India on display, with the Prime Minister coming out here with saluting Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the modern day leader who 75 years ago thought about this, had a dream, and finally reconstructed the Somnath Temple between 47 and 51. Finally Rajendra Prasad inaugurating it, and while the debate Ritya Yug, when it was built in gold, to Ravana constructed in silver, and finally Lord Krishna constructed in wood. Archaeologists may say that there is no evidence of this, etc., but the reality is that there is a historical perspective, there is an ancient perspective to the Somnath Temple, and the kind of vibrant energy that this place really has, and higher consciousness that one can achieve while meditating and praying here, because the moon god really had prayed out there, some kind of repentance that happened at that time as he prayed to Lord Shiva. So these video that we are getting right now.
Interesting story that the moon god prayed to Shiva,
and that's how it got its name. Yes. Actually, that's how it got.
In fact, he took a dubki, he took a snan at this river, which is Hiran, Kapila, and Saraswati, and it meets the Arabian Sea. So such a beautiful story there. But Aditya, help us understand what happened yesterday, because I was looking at visuals, the rousing welcome that Prime Minister received in Saurashtra, in Somnath, and remember, he is an MP from one Shivki Nagri, Varanasi, and from here he goes to Somnath, which is also the land of Shiva. What kind of welcome did he receive yesterday? What happened yesterday in that amazing drone show, the chanting of Omkar, and today, how electrifying is the atmosphere there?
Well, Vasudha, Prime Minister arrived in Gujarat yesterday at around 4 p.m. in Rajkot. From Rajkot, he travelled to Prabhat Patan, which is of immense significance, because Prabhat Patan is where the Somnath Temple is located, very nearby. and he arrived at the temple premises somewhere around 7:45 p.m. and there began the true significant event with the arrival of the Prime Minister. He was of course received by the Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel and the Deputy Chief Minister Harsh Sanghvi, and finally Prime Minister participated in a very important mantra ucharan, which was the Omkar mantra at the temple premises itself. He of course went inside the sanctum sanctorium of the temple. He prayed and bowed towards the Jyotirling, the first of the 12 Jyotirlings of India. And that was the first day of Prime Minister's visit to the Somnath Temple and the pilgrimage that he conducted. Immediately after the Omkar Mantra, the Prime Minister also participated and witnessed the magnificent drone show that clearly hasn't been seen really, highlighting how important Somnath Temple really is and the cultural figures and historical figures over the years who contributed to the revival of this temple, from Sardar Patel to Narendra Modi, really playing a very crucial role in people taking pride in Somnath, taking pride in the Hindu civilization and how it has contributed to the creation of India, to the creation of Bharatvarsh. So today also, it is roughly 10 a.m. right now. Any moment, the Prime Minister could be beginning the important ceremonies out here, the salutation to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and also the important Shaurya Yatra. And those visuals are going to remain not just for today, but always. And perhaps this could be a yearly ritual here at the Somnath Temple as well, as people remember and pay tributes to the Somnath, to the Lord Shiva, but also to all those important figures who have played a significant role for its revival. So today is a very historic day for the cultural revival of Somnath, for remembering how it was plundered and looted time and again. But every time it was plundered, every time it was looted, it got resurrected, it got created again, and it got created even bigger. So once you actually enter the temple premises, there is a powerful energy that overtakes you completely, and life's business is forgotten completely. And that's what perhaps the Prime Minister also
Aditya, that
saw
divine
yesterday.
energy
I'm
that
sure
envelops devotees at the most sacred Jyotirling of Lord Shiva is where you are at right now, reporting for us. And those are live visuals, viewers, that you are seeing right now. We're going to increase the audio once and play out some of those visuals. The 108 horses, the Shaurya Yatra that is set to begin any moment. Those are visuals that are coming in right now of those 108 horses, signifying and symbolizing the valor, the courage of all those who stood again and again every time the temple was attacked, but then it was constructed again, as if standing for the continuum of Indian civilization. Vasudha.
That's right, Gauri. In fact, it also marks 1,000 years since first recorded attack on the Somnath Shrine and 75 years since its post-independence reconstruction. And across today, what we'll see is the Prime Minister taking part in several rituals. He'll also be addressing a very special gathering in Somnath. And most importantly, like you said, he'll be participating in that Shaurya Yatra. 106 horses have already arrived. And after that, of course, he proceeds to Rajkot. This is a very important milestone in terms of cultural pride of India. The Prime Minister himself participating in Somnath's commemoration of 1,000 years of its existence and resilience. Acharya Savi Singh, ma'am, how do you look at those visuals there? It's Saurashtra. And Saurashtra is one place in this country, but I've seen people take a lot of pride in their attire, like their poshak and their costumes. Look at those saffron turbans and those horses. This is really, present meets past.
See, what has happened in the past is a straight up example of iconoclasm. But what persistence and what resistance and something that we've been through over the years is a detriment of what shows that India has perhaps, and the Hindu religion and culture perhaps, now remains one of the only pagan cultures and religions in the world, because this is something that had happened to the Jews, the Egyptians, and you've seen slowly how all those cultures and all those history has eroded. But why India and its culture becomes so important is that what we didn't leave was our roots. And that is something that the BJP government and Modi ji himself is something that they've always, stood by for us to understand the importance of our culture and to rejuvenate it and bring that sense of patriotism, bring that sense of the essence of true saffron in our very blood. Now also why today becomes extremely important, like you've been saying again and again, the 108 horses. See, 108 totals to the number of 9, which is a universally potent number.
Okay.
It is a number which symbolizes the universal energy within itself. The numerology says that it has got numbers between 1 to 9. There are Navgrahas, the 9 planets. So the entire solar system in itself revolves around the very number 9, which is why the 108 number, the 108 chants of Om, the Omkara, going on for the 72 hours consecutively. Again, 7 plus 2 totals to 9. So there is also a very deeply rooted meaning into everything that we're doing today.
All of this has a certain meaning. All of this adds up to the larger aspect that we are focusing on. I'm going to keep going back to our colleague Aditya Rajpal, who's on ground covering this historic milestone for us. Aditya, that Shaurya Yatra is set to begin any minute now. The visuals are on our screens. The 108 horses, the Yatra, I believe it's just begun.
Well, yes, the Shaurya Yatra has officially begun. You can see right behind me the visuals that I'm giving you live on your screens. This is right outside the Somnath Temple. There are people and cultural groups and troops from all backgrounds coming here and celebrating. They are putting out a unique performance in front of the audience. Thousands of people who have converged here outside the Somnath Temple. But this is, as I said, about the cultural revival of the Hindu Renaissance, the Hindu civilization as well. If we show you more visuals, there are, of course, youth and children with Damru in their hands performing right out here. And Prime Minister is also part of this entire Yatra. Prime Minister any moment will be coming here as part of this Yatra. But this is the Damru of the Lord Shiva that is being played out. This is unique. That is coming out. You can see flowers being put across on the people out here who are part of the Shaurya Yatra. Perhaps never before in Somnath have we seen such level of celebration where thousands of people from all walks of life, from all ages converge on one platform to celebrate what is significant, what is important. And as I said, from also be coming here as part of this important yatra. But this yatra is also significant because there are 108 horses who are part of the celebration. You will get a glimpse of those horses as you are getting on your screens on our camera as well in just a couple of seconds from now. But this is a huge celebration that is coming out here right outside the Somnath Temple. A lot of color, a lot of flowers out here, a lot of celebration. Never seen before, the kind of pride that people are taking in this particular Shaurya Yatra, but also in how India celebrates its history, India celebrates its Hindu Dharma as well. And now on your screens, the 108 horses coming live on NDTV. The horses have come right outside the temple premises, the Somnath Temple premises. You can see, of course, here people on these flags holding the flag of the Somnath Temple, holding the Sanatani Hindu flag and coming across. The first horses slowly towards the premises of the Somnath Temple. So rally of cultural revival has taken shape here. This is the Shaurya Yatra. The Shaurya Yatra really signifies the kind of cultural legacy that Somnath Temple has had, the kind of power, the divinity and the divine energy that is part of this cultural renaissance as well. Because every time, thousands of pilgrims go to the Somnath Temple every day, they experience something unique. They experience, the kind of important energy that you face inside and, of course, hold prayers inside the temple. So these are 108 horses on your screens, slowly walking and emerging towards the temple premises. The Shaurya Yatra has begun officially. You can see on your screens, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also part of the Shaurya Yatra. Prime Minister Modi is, of course, greeting people on both sides of the roads here in Prabhatpatan and right outside the Somnath Temple as well, as we celebrate this unique emergence of the Hindu civilization and how the Somnath Temple is being celebrated, because 1,000 years after Muhammad of Ghazni tried to destroy it, tried to plunder, and of course use every method in the book to completely erase the Hindu civilization from here. But we have now, of course, 1,000 years later, a cultural renaissance taking shape. The temple is intact. The temple has been rebuilt between 1947 and 51. And now, of course, the celebrations have begun. And this could very well become an annual exercise, an annual figure here, because every year there are close to 1 crore people that converge here at the Somnath Temple. And I'm told that between October and January is the peak season when pilgrims from all across the country converge here outside and inside the Somnath Temple. So very important visuals coming on your screen of the Shaurya Yatra. The important events of the day have begun here, live and exclusive here on
those
NDTV.
visuals there of youngsters with Damrus and those 108 horses. And, you know, even as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, the Prime Minister made it a point to have Prabhat Feris on Independence Day across the state. So he did make it a point to take celebrations out of Gandhinagar to every village district of Gujarat, something that we've seen even with G20 events being spread out across the country. So Somnath has seen some of this in the past, because consistently the Prime Minister has taken part in several events there as the Chief Minister. In fact, I remember a big event being hosted on 50 years of reconstruction after independence that was also presided over by the Prime Minister. Yesterday, he took part in the trust meetings as well. Can you explain to us the Prime Minister's own... Okay, let me go across to Mr. Chakravarti now. Mr. Chakravarti, how do you look at the involvement of people like Mahatma Gandhi, or for that matter, K.M. Munshi and Sardar Patel, all of them in this, in this building of this temple, reconstruction of this temple, something that wouldn't have been possible without, of course, the help from Sardar Patel?
I think we're talking about really the big names. And by the way, for my earlier panelist, K.M. Munshi was the source from which I used Anandapala and Madhav, who were the two Hindus who in a way invited Khilji and Ghazni over. But when we are talking about the big names like Gandhi and Sardar Patel, and of course we shouldn't forget Patel's role in this at all, I think we also need to look at the rulers of the various principalities, Junagadh, Navnagar. In fact, the Jam Sahib of Navnagar was one of the principal donors for the 24,92,000 rupees that it cost to build the temple at that time, which was, and his donation was about 1,101, which was a lot of money in the 1940s. So I think we need to remember all those people, and especially those people who've lost their lives from building that temple and protecting the temple. So, and I think it's very surprising that we're talking about how politicians have not been promoting this temple, because in India the tradition has always been that the king and the god were the same, the palace and the temple were the same.
Important points that you are raising there, sir, and we're going to keep coming back to the historical aspect of it as well, because unless we understand that, we cannot contextualize the moment that is happening right now. But I'm going to go back to Aditya, a colleague who's on ground covering this day for us, this important milestone for us. Aditya, I believe you're exactly at the spot in that entire roadshow where the Prime Minister is just about to come in.
Well, yes, the Prime Minister has arrived at the Somnath Temple, and the Prime Minister is just less than 100 meters away from me. You can see these live visuals, Prime Minister actually waving towards the crowd, and these are the first visuals coming on NDTV. You can see, of course, Bhupendra Patel, the Chief Minister, and Harsh Singhvi, the Deputy Chief Minister, also coming here. And the Prime Minister is, in fact, greeting the people on all walks of life out here. And Prime Minister, live on your screens out here, celebrating the Somnath Temple Parv, and Prime Minister live going across to the Somnath Temple. the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister are with him, and just in a couple of minutes from now, he will be entering the temple premises. There is heavy security arrangement here, but the Prime Minister slowly and steadily now heading towards the Somnath Temple. This is the Shaurya Yatra that the Prime Minister is a part of, and the Prime Minister is, of course, waving towards the thousands of people who have gathered here to get one glimpse of the Prime Minister who has led this initiative of the Somnath Parv. You can see the kind of visuals, the kind of amazing visuals on the screen right now. A lot of color in the air to welcome the Prime Minister at the Somnath Temple. Live visuals on your screen of the kind of magnificent welcome that the Prime Minister is receiving on the second day of his arrival at the Somnath Temple. And this begins the official ceremony of the Somnath Swabhiman Parv on the second day of the arrival of the Prime Minister here in Prabhatpatan, Somnath, where the Prime Minister is now heading and inching closer towards the main gate of the Somnath Temple and entering it. And there, of course, the salutations to Sardar Patel will take place, and of course the special prayer ceremony led by the Prime Minister and the priests of the 12 Jyotirlings converging here at the Somnath Temple. What a historic occasion really, and what a cultural renaissance on your screens live taking place. 1,000 years ago, Muhammad Ghazni would have never imagined that he could begin the destruction of the Somnath Temple, but one day will come when truly they will be protectors of the faith, protectors of the Somnath Temple, and 1,000 people converging here.
1,000 years back is when the first attack on Somnath Mandir took place by Mahmud of Ghazni, and since then the temple has come up again and again, a symbol of India's civilization, which is that of continuity, not of rupture. On your screens are visuals, live visuals of the Prime Minister in the Shaurya Yatra that is underway right now. 108 horses, all color on your screens as India celebrates a key milestone in its civilizational journey, as India celebrates Somnath, as Prime Minister Modi undertakes that Shaurya Yatra. 108 horses there, Vasudha, in all glory and symbolizing the valor of those who stood for Somnath.
Aditya, the Prime Minister is also giving out Damrus to people. He's known as a Shiv Bhakt. He's known as an Upasak of Shakti. So this clearly is a religious moment for him. It's a spiritual moment for him, and something that he owns because he has ruled the state for 14 years. Help us understand the visuals there, and how happy is the Prime Minister? How happy are people around to see him?
So now Prime Minister finally has entered the Somnath Temple premises. He will be inching closer to the main temple compound, where of course celebrations and prayers taking place at the first of the 12 Jyotirlings of India. What a sight really that comes but rare on your screens, live and exclusive here on NDTV. The Prime Minister inside the Somnath Temple now on the second day of his arrival here in Gujarat. He is of course a packed jet from Somnath to Rajkot to Ahmedabad. Tomorrow he will be receiving the German Chancellor in Ahmedabad, but today is an important day. It takes precedence of everything else, and that's what matters. It is the faith, it is the supreme consciousness that really matters in this particular case, because there have been attacks, there have been invasions, there have been attempts to plunder and loot this particular site of faith, but it has endured everything. It has really tried to all these years and decades and centuries, and now here we are celebrating the Shaurya Divas and the Shaurya Yatra that is taking place during the Swabhiman Parv of the Somnath. In a few minutes from now, we will be getting live visuals of the Prime Minister beginning the prayer ceremony inside the temple premises, where the 12 Jyotirling priests will be, of course, praying towards Lord Shiva and trying to tell you what is happening out here is very, very significant. That will be remembered for years to come. Perhaps the next 1,000 years, when the prayers continue to take place here inside the Somnath Temple. So apart from the special prayers that the Prime Minister will be leading after the Shaurya Yatra, we will be witnessing the Prime Minister actually also celebrating and talking to people, addressing the people about the significance of the Swabhiman Parv, how it was important, and how the mindset of Ghazni, of plunder, of loot, of devastation of the Hindu faith or the Hindu civilization can never prevail. No other person with the same mindset can prevail. It didn't happen 1,000 years ago. It cannot happen today.